Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another day of the video diary. How's it going today? Today, it is morning. The birds are singing, so that's proof. But we are heading off to work today. I think. Well, no, actually, my watch is fast, isn't it? So I should be alright. Never mind. I'm running maybe 2 minutes later than I was the other couple of days, and 2 minutes is not enough to catch the bus I want. So I might end up getting the bus after that. But who knows? Who really minds? Last night I got a bit of an iffy sleep. I went to bed feeling a bit ill, not just cold ill, but actually ill. But I seem to have woken up fine, touch wood. I'm not entirely sure what was up with me, but I feel better. And that's all that matters, really, isn't it? Really. So yeah, I did feel quite a bit off. I didn't do video descriptions and stuff like that because of it. I just kind of went fell into bed. It was a bit weird. But otherwise though, I woke up this morning not feeling ill, feeling quite the opposite. I'm feeling productive, I'm feeling ready for a long day of grafting. I've been doing a bit of project organisation, which is what I do now instead of projects. But I've been setting myself up for the day basically, and I've been having a couple of ideas and I need to get them down, or I need to get them sorted. I've got with me a notepad and pen, so that I can start designing a system that I need to make. I'm also going to be doing this thing, basically I'm going to be jumping into some projects that I need to do for blitzsoftware.co.uk. What I'm going to be doing as well, I'm looking into the possibility, I'm going to set up a virtual machine basically, because the server I'm going to be working on doesn't exist yet. I'm going to set up a virtual machine and I'm going to try and I'm going to have one flying last attempt at getting a C# mono MVC running on it. And if I can get that running on a normal Pi, then my Pi will change over. I'll just copy and paste all of the files back over, change it all to I'll have a week's worth of dev work while I change all the files over, so that they work with a MVC. Oh god. And then I'll be laughing. But basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be designing today the system that I'm going to be making for Project Wheatbase. And if I can pull off how I want to design it, I'm going to be designing it very I'm going to abstract all of the technology away from the design as much as possible. But if I can develop it in the way that I want to design it, then that means I can develop my own websites in that kind of way as well, and that makes them 1,000,000 and 20,000,000 100 times better in my eyes, which is good. So yeah, that's the plan there basically. I'm not sure how much of that made sense, to be honest. Essentially, when I get home tonight, I'm going to be sorting out a virtual machine which will pretend to be the Raspberry Pi that I'm going to be working on. If I can get that running with a MVC compatible server, then I will. And if I can do that, then I will spend a bit of time making sure that my server can do that as well, because that's just more efficient. What else? But yeah, otherwise I don't know if that's gonna work. So basically today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be organising and probably board management and stuff as well. I've got to do my board at home. I'm going to be project managing all of my projects, reshuffle them around, make sure I know what I'm doing for each and every single one of them, and I'm going to be getting designs on paper so that I can just leap into final work with the old I'm getting distracted. I'm going to be doing all of that kind of stuff, all of the planning, so that I can just leap into some of the development work, which is necessary. I need to start working a lot harder on these kind of things. Also what I'm going to be doing, as I do things, I'm going to be producing and creating blogs about it, but they won't be going live because they'll go live onto Blitz Software or my own website eventually. So I'm going to keep them, and it's going to be things like how I set up my server and all that kind of stuff. So I think it'll be interesting, but it'll be interesting to a more techie based audience than my normal Jamie Ped audience. I think I missed my bus, so we've got some time to kill. It doesn't really matter, it just means I'll get into work ever so slightly later. which is probably a good thing, to be honest with you, because it's really hard to leave early. So it's probably better to get there later. But yeah, these are the things I'm doing, basically. I'm back on the horse. I need to start actively doing things. Once I've got started and once I've got rolling, then it should be relatively simple. And I should already have the motivation in order to complete it, if you know what I mean. Let's walk to the other bus stop, actually, the YOLO points. But yeah, I've woke up today with the passion to kickstart everything again for the new year. I think it's a very pretty sky over there. Hello. Yeah, so I think it's important to do that as soon as possible, and while I'm in the mood for it, we may as well do it. What's annoying is I'm normally in the mood for it in the mornings when I'm going to work, so I need to get as much of this enthusiasm down as possible on paper so that I know what I'm doing. And I'm designing it on paper because I think it's easier to design on paper, even on a bus, than it is to design this kind of thing with a computer or tablet. So yeah. But I'm not only just jump starting all of my Devi stuff, like my projects like that, and my other projects, my websites and stuff. I'm also going to be jump starting my blog and that kind of stuff. I've just got to find time to do it, basically. I'm going to start, well, arguably I'm not going to start losing time. I'm going to start losing the time that I currently use to do this kind of stuff on the bus, but I'm going to be gaining an hour and a half every day at home when I get my car down here. So we'll see how things change when I get my car. I think I'll be a lot more productive when I get my car because I won't feel as exhausted from sitting and waiting on the bus. Is that weird logic? It might be. Who knows? Home and buses were a nightmare, so I got back quite a bit later than normal. I didn't leave until 20 past 6, which isn't good. Well, it's kind of, it means I got 1.5 hours flexi again because I was working longer, but it's annoying because I got back later and I'm absolutely starving, and all of that was because of the buses. I wanted to leave at 5. I had to find something else to do after 5. I'm like, damn it. Just finished like a load of stuff. And this day, when the buses decide to absolutely just run crap on me, is the day that my car is available. Whee! It's at home now. Well, in Nottingham. Just sat there in the garage because it can't be driven because it's not registered for the road. But it got dropped off at our cribs, and Dad sent me some photos of it and it looks cool and I really want to drive it, and today of all days because buses will crap. But I'm super excited. It's now time to, well, it's not now time to look at, because it's going to be taxed onto the road for February. Well, it's going to be moved onto the road for February. It's going to be insured for February, etc. And then I'm going to go back on the 3rd, the night of, no, the 4th, the evening of the 4th is when I'm going to be going back. But yeah, otherwise though, what's been going on today? Today, I should really cook while I'm doing this. Let me start cooking and then I'll tell you about today. Alright then, now I'm back on track with everything. Cooking is underway, almost, waiting for my pan to boil. So I can start chucking in spuds. But what work was pretty good today. I left, I was on fire. Like, things were just left, right and centre, just code was coming out of my ears. I mapped, basically the majority of the day was spent in Excel, Microsoft Excel, which I used to write my code for me because fucking hell, I had to map something like 2,100 and something different things to 2,100 and something different things. So that was fun. That was fun, writing at least 2,000 lines of code, and it's actually more than that considerably, because I've got to wrap tests around it, and I was using literally Excel to like crunch numbers and then format strings for me to just copy and paste over into the code itself. But it was really good fun. Got it all sorted, got it tested. Got it all, yeah, tests were the hardest thing to format and stuff because it's like obviously 5 different lines per test, and stuff like that. But yeah, good fun. It was good fun. After that, we then moved on to something else, which we've noticed, we picked up, and I went through it, and then there was just bugs. I was like, an odd bug that I just go, oh, I'm going to catch that one, solve that little bug for you, there you go, well, hey. I did a load of research into some other stuff that was causing us problems, discovered it wasn't our fault, moved it over to the people whose it was faults, and everything is going good. Everything is fine and dandy in the day. I've legitimately, I've had a really good day today. I've been flying left, right and centre, and I am absolutely starving for it. I've been hungry all day, basically. I had to have my carrot early, because I was that hungry. I couldn't wait till bloody lunch. But yeah, in other news, I'm considering going in later. Like, I've already got over half of the flexi time I need, and I've got an extra 7 days to build up the rest. I've done it all in 3 days. It's about 1.5 days, 1.5 hours every day so far this week. Because of the buses. It's usually really hard to leave on time. Like, I wanted to leave at 4:30 today and didn't, or what, 4:30/5, and then didn't. And like, it gets hard to leave on time. So if I just arrive later, then leaving on time is still 5 o'clock, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's my plan. Stan, it's all been good. It's all been jolly good fun. And all I need to do now is my project planning. I was gonna make my virtual machine, wasn't I? Tonight. That's my project. And this. Combination of the two. Has this changed much? I'm gonna have to review it, aren't I? Let's be honest. Oh, you know what? You know what I hate? Everything to do with making your own servers and stuff and installing your own shizzle whizzle. I can't figure it out. And I know for a fact it's possible. I know it's possible. It's always possible, right? You know what? No matter what forum you go to, and people ask, how do I make a .NET MVC run on a Raspberry Pi? It's just like, learn PHP. Why don't you learn PHP? PHP's so much better. Microsoft sucks. I mean, like, it's not even like they've even looked at the .NET framework. There is no way you can use PHP then come back to me and tell me that the .NET framework is worse. There is no fucking way. That's like, you could argue that Java is equally as good as .NET. You could argue it. I would listen to you and tell you why you're wrong. But you could in a way argue that the fact that that Java's open source and all that shit is good. But there's no need to freaking harp on about it all the time, is there? Microsoft has a really bad reputation. I swear they don't even do anything. They literally, as far as I'm aware, they don't do anything that, like, Microsoft make it. What does Microsoft make that's bad, apart from Internet Explorer? Come on. Let's figure it out. Because when people turn around and say, oh, Windows is bad. Windows is a fucking masterpiece. Linux is equally as good at... Linux is probably slightly better, the fact that it's just literally... Well, then again, there's so many fucking distributions of it, though. Does it really count? But Windows is a masterpiece. Like, to get... You know... Here we go. You know why, recently, on... Because whenever people go about why Windows is bad, they say why Mac is better, right? The reason that recently, people like the newest Apple operating systems, things like Yosemite and iOS, whatever fucking number it's on now, 8 or something, Yosemite and iOS 8, you know why they had so many problems? Because Apple now have the same problem Microsoft do, and Apple can't do it as well. Because Microsoft has to take into account every single possible hardware scenario possible. So they've got different graphics drivers, different RAM, different this, different that, different this. Whereas people like Apple, who make their own phones, and same sense Android versus Apple, but Android is Linux, so it doesn't really count. The reason that Apple started to drop the ball, that started to get absolutely shit at doing operating systems, and people are like, why are Apple not... Like, why are there so many updates? Why is there this? Why is it so slow? It's because now they have to start paying attention and supporting lots of different pieces of hardware. They made all of those pieces of hardware, and they know exactly what those pieces of hardware are, but they're so used to just having one operating system running on one thing. So now they've got 64-bit phones versus 32-bit phones, so they've got to support both. They've got to support the old processors and the old iPads. They've got to support the old iPhones up until a certain point, and if they don't support that, then they lose like the public's eye of, oh, they're really good at supporting you because you get the updates. But it means that their new operating system has to cater for all of the different types of hardware, and Apple aren't very good at that. They're not very good at that. Considering, like, to be fair, it's not all that flawed, iOS. I just don't like it. But the issues they've had over specifically things like Yosemite had Wi-Fi problems in it. I'm not sure what problems iOS had. But Yosemite had Wi-Fi problems. Apple have no excuse of having Wi-Fi problems, considering that they single-handedly picked every single Wi-Fi card in every single laptop and computer that fucking thing's running on. It's ridiculous. They have literally no excuse to have problems like that. And you'll notice that when Windows comes out, the only thing people really complain about is the user interface. There's no real massive... Well, I'm trying to think back. I didn't really pay attention to the Windows 8 launch, because everyone... Well, the biggest thing about Windows 8 was the graphics and user interface, wasn't it? GUI. But Windows 7, Vista was obviously a shitfest, but no one talks about Vista. But why was it a shitfest? Was it just confusing? Is that the only reason why Windows... I'm trying to think of, like, problems that Windows 7 had at launch. I'm not going to spend a decade Googling it, but I've just been looking down Wikipedia. I can't see any mention of bugs or anything like that. But Windows managed to pull that kind of shit off without fucking messing about, right? So I don't understand why people hate Microsoft so much. I legitimately don't understand. Like, to be fair, no, I think the user interface is fine. I don't think it's confusing to work with. I think Mac is, but it's because I'm so used to working with Windows. But what has Microsoft done that's bad? Apart from like the odd thing like Zune, which is shit. Why isn't shit? Well, I don't know, I never used it, but it never kicked off. That's not the same as saying it's shit. It might have been really fucking good. It might have been like excellent, but no one used it because iPad just crushed it. What have they done that's bad? That's like a flop? Because the Surface, as in software-wise, because like Windows, the operating system's good, stable. There's not many issues with it that are outside of the usability realm. There's no technical issues with it. That I can think of anyway. Like Office is fucking amazeballs. Office is awesome as hell. What else do they do? They must do other things. I can't think, but anyway, back to the point. I don't understand why people are so set against things that are made by Microsoft. And like, Microsoft, the .NET framework's been open source for a year now. Like, Microsoft still fiddle around with it, but it's open source now. And yet, they've not fucking taken it up. So I'm trying to get this bloody image. I'm trying to get the right operating system installed. This is why I want to turn all of this stuff into a blog, because if I can figure out how to do it quickly and in a relatively concise way without having 74,000 tabs open, I'll bloody well tell you about it, because it needs to get out there, this kind of information, because no one else has given it to anyone. But yeah, so far I've got a blank virtual machine because I can't get my the image installed on it, because I'm trying to Control Alt. I'm trying to install OpenSUSE onto it, but OpenSUSE that would run on a Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pis, man, I remember now why I didn't want. Problem is, the owner of Project Wheatbase has now bought a Raspberry Pi. I wanted them to get a Windows PC, because then I could run a Windows server on it, and then I can have all the technology I wanted. I don't want to step away from ASP.NET though, because it gives me security. I don't feel safe doing PHP securely in the way that I need to do it for Project Wheatbase. That's the issue. That is the issue that I'm facing at the moment, and I don't want to face that issue. But anyway, I'm going to get going because it's 10:30. I need to render this, get it uploaded. I need to do yesterday's description and all that shit. I'm going to have to put this to bed for one night. I'm going to have to look at it again tomorrow. What's going on tomorrow? Tomorrow it is a Thursday. Tomorrow, one of the Lewises, Lewis 1 OG, the original Lewis, is not in work because he's gone back to Plymouth. Not that really matters to me. We're going to be facing a couple of bugs. I need to get some things mapped that I haven't yet mapped. Yeah, I need to map one more thing. Company name needs to be mapped through, I believe. Then what? And I think we're pretty laughing. I think we're laughing. We're happy days for our project. I'm trying to think. I swear it was bigger than this, but anyway. It's going well, basically. But yeah, I'm going to get going, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching this video. It's been a fun one. I've been really productive today. It's been a really good day. It's been a really worky day. It's just a shame that this has been so smashing your face against a wall because just nothing is out there. I don't think I'm going to be able to run it a proper MVC. Like, the biggest thing is being able to test it. You can test an MVC really, really safely in Visual Studio, because Visual Studio is an absolute monster of a program. It's the best. It is legitimately my favourite program in the world. And you can't test stuff outside of it properly. Like, PHP is a bugger to get running. It really is. Like, everything I test for my site, because my sites are written in PHP, what you can see of them, everything I've written for them are all hosted. Like, I test it on the server itself, not before I upload it. So whatever I put on there could fucking break everything. And specifically for security stuff, I don't want that. I don't want that hanging over my head. I'm trying to do this properly. I'm gonna catch you later.